all of the members of the committee, except Mr. Savornich's amendment, as a friendly amendment, because that is clearly the intent. I wanted to compliment Mr. Hernandez for putting this in the context of a clear-cut example, because that's really illustrative of what could be and what should be in all the neighborhoods in this city. The kind of example that Mr. Hernandez gave of the senior leads being a part of community-based policing is an integral part of community-based governing, an integral part of community-based governance. It's a companion piece to the kind of neighborhood councils that hopefully will be formed in this city. We talk about community-based government, and it's about the delivery of all city. It's about community-based planning, community-based education, community-based policing, community-based governing. It all relates to each other, and it is all about the partnership of those who deliver services being in partners with those who are the recipients of the services in making it the most effective possible. And I think that the example you gave was just a perfect one, not only of what you saw, but what could be and what should be. I hope that this police commission will not use the excuse that it is going to wait for the report from its, quote, independent outside Rampart Commission. You don't need another commission to tell you you need community-based policing. Christopher Commission told us that years ago. And as Ms. Chick mentioned, the SLOs are not totally community-based policing. They're an aspect, and there is far more yet that needs to be done. You don't need another report to tell you you need community-based policing any more than you need a report to tell you now that you need tracking that hasn't occurred for all of these years. Some things do await a further report, but this is not one of them, and we will not allow the Police Commission to use that as an excuse to do nothing in the meanwhile. And cost, and finally, we're not going to allow the issue of cost. That is a ruse, that is a phony issue. These people are on the payroll. These people are on the payroll now. They're a part of $1 billion budget. The question is what you do with that money, how you spend it, and the results you achieve. And it is not about adding more to the budget. It is about spending it in a more effective way. And nobody's going to be fooled by that, Nate.
Mr. Holden.
Hey, hey, Mr. President, hold my time while they demonstrate. Hey, Joel. It's a low blow not only to Nate, but to the chief. Okay? The fact of the matter is that when there was a Valley shootout, where did you want senior lead officers? In somebody's living room? Or you wanted them out in the community? Or you want them out there fighting crime? Where were they supposed, where could they best serve the people of this city? Mr. President, have them keep quiet when I'm speaking.
Yeah, please.
Wait a minute, hold my time while they keep quiet, darn it.
Okay, please, we didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, so please let Mr. Holden speak.
The fact of the matter is that when there was a Valley shootout, where would you rather have senior lead officers? In somebody's living room? Or out there? Oh, there's your answer. Or out there fighting criminals. When they had a shootout in the school, where would you rather have them? Some of them had got out of practice of how to serve in the community in the basic car plan operation. What were some of their duties? Their duties were to train other officers. But they were going home after they did their desk job and campaigning for the 312 plan, being more political than police officers for the most part. The fact of the matter is that I went to one block club meeting in my district, and what you need to do is make sure you see how many councilperson's deputies are attending your meetings to listen to your complaints. That's who you ought to be complaining about. And then you'll get your message. You'll get your response. Do Joe Wax deputies attend your meetings? Yeah, okay, he doesn't attend either. The fact of the matter is that there were 7 police officers at one meeting that I attended. 7. And that's a misuse of police power. 7 police officers. One there, fine. That was more than one example. See, first of all, when you tell the people the truth sometimes, they stone you to death. They don't want to listen to that because they have their own agenda. I'm saying to you that the police commission should not cave in, should not yield to the kind of pressure that the politician is trying to apply. If you want to go out and seek higher office, go out and do it on the issue. Use this as an issue. And say when you become mayor, or city attorney, or controller, whatever the case may be, that you'll change the rules. You'll appoint the people that will be more responsive to you. Don't try to dismantle what the mayor has done in terms of putting more police officers on the street to control crime, and crime is now what? Dying, and that you cannot argue with. So I say to you that I urge the police commission to turn a deaf ear to these politicians whose only goal is aim is to further their own goals.
Thank you, Mr. Holden.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you for the commission, because I know you're going to do that.
Mr. Burnson,
I move the previous question on the entire matter.
prepare the roll on a previous question, which would cut off debate. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, the debate has been terminated.
Open the roll, I gotta go.
What is your point of information?
Motion, Mr. President, was that the Police Commission consider this item
I
at
said
their
the
next...
entire matter. That was seconded.
If I may finish, Mr. Burnson? Their next meeting is scheduled for this Tuesday, and that's the meeting that we would want them to schedule it at.
Okay, there's no objections to including that in the committee report, so prepare the roll. Prepare the roll. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 eyes, 1 no.
Okay, that's
Forthwith. Forthwith.
forthwith on that. I just want to point out to you and the audience that that is considered a unanimous vote. Miss-
She did that to me.
Mr. Holden enjoys, okay, the next item.
Item number 33, call special by Councilmember Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez, you call 33 special?
Mr. President, members of council,
Would you kindly leave the council chamber quietly? We still have city business.
and I'm going to ask
Sergeant,
Mr.
make sure that-
Mr. Deaton and Mr. Fujioka I think Mr. Fujioka was here, someone from to also go up to the front desk, because the reason I called 33 special members of the council is a lot of work is happening in the city, and we're making a lot of policy decisions and so forth, a lot of capital improvements, and I see it as I'm driving throughout my district. You know, my neighbors were real happy when I paved the street, and street maintenance did that on my block that got paved. And then I had to answer to them why it was that the Department of Water and Power built this huge trench and undid the pavement. And then if a nonprofit had done that in building a housing, we have an ordinance that says they have to pay for that street paving as if it would last for 20, 25 years.
Point of order. You lost the quorum. No, one came back. One came back.
The other day, I drove in Chinatown, I saw these brand-new streetlights that are going up on Ord and New High. And the reality is, when they put the streetlights on each one of the corners, they reconstructed the sidewalks without handicapping them.
I think we did lose a quorum. Mr. Burnson is gone. Mr. Padilla's left. Mr. Ridley Thomas left.
Well, the
Ms.
light shows
Goldberg.
5 gone.
Well, they didn't.
Oh, Burnson, now we did lose a
Burnson
quorum.
left.
I want to remake my point of order. You lost the quorum, Mr. President.
Okay. So unless somebody comes back, is Jackie on her way? Where is she? I know when. Mr. Hernandez, you can be seated for a while.
Sure.
but,
Mr. President, just for the
we-
record, could I ask which council members were excused to be gone at this time?
Mrs. Walters and Miss Galanter, and
Ms. Goldberg was excused to leave early.
Miss Goldberg was excused to leave early.
So then it's the other 3 council members who,
Mr. Burnson was excused today
Okay.
too, but he
How-
came in.
so 2 council members left without being excused. I'm just trying to reinforce your rule. I always go up to you and ask, may I be excused to leave a meeting?
Well, very seldom do anybody do that anymore. They just
Okay.
leave.
Uh,
Mr. Burnson did ask to leave. So we are expecting Ms. Goldberg back in a few minutes.
Mr. Ridley Thomas is on his way back. His staff just told me.
Hold my time, Mr. President.
Well, they don't do it. I've told them. Those Croatians are all trying to be Italian. The council will come to order again. Mr. Hernandez, you have the floor.
Okay, so, members of council, I was describing a little bit earlier about DOT putting street signals up on corners and then rebuilding sidewalks. And I'm talking about ADA compliance curve cuts. When we gave street maintenance monies to do sidewalks, they are focused on redoing sidewalks, they're focused on doing curb cuts, and we also suggested that they coordinate with street lighting, coordinate with all the departments who do sidewalk work. What I'm trying to explain is everybody's agendas and everybody's schedules are moving, and that's not happening to the degree it should be happening. I know that when I've had these discussions with DOT would tell me, we have people who are cement masons, who do the cement work when they do the holes. We don't have a person who does the sidewalks. And I just asked curb cuts. I just asked the question of street lighting, and they told me they have people who do the cement work, but they don't have people who do curb cuts. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so the system we're trying to create is a system that says, you guys do your work and coordinate with street maintenance to come in and do the curb cuts when you're doing your work. And it might make more sense to have each department have staff as part of their cement work that does curb cuts. So what I wanted to do is ask if the CLA and the CAO could look at this issue in regards to this year's budget, which we just approved, that has a substantial amount of money for curb cuts and sidewalks, and come back within 30 days with a recommendation as to how we staff that coordination. But it just seems to me that if the instruction for street lighting is to, when you work next to a corner, to handicap it, to ADA it, to make the curb cut, and they have a staff to do that, that becomes part of their work. And you don't have to coordinate, you just got to get it done and let us know you did it. And as opposed to having another department having to come in and do that part of the work when you're trying to do your work. So if we could get that kind of a report back, I would appreciate it. And the reason I use this item to ask the question is because you're asking for 14 people to do work on a variety of projects, but I didn't see anybody asking about someone to do the curb cuts. And if the CAO and CLA could report back to us on that item within 30 days, and it could go through Public Works, I would appreciate that.
Okay. Anyone else want to be heard on this item? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 39 is on the desk.
Okay, we have Mort Allen who wants to be heard on 39. Yes. Yeah, maybe he left. Mr. Pacheco, you wanted to be heard?
I wanted to, as the maker of the motion, I just wanted to put the motion in context. Mr. President and colleagues, when I was elected to the City Council, there was an article written by Sister Callahan. Many of you know her. She works with the homeless individuals in my part of the district and the part of the district that Ms. Walters and I share. And also, there were individuals from the Central City East Association Business Improvement District who wanted to discuss the whole development of the industrial part of the district. And one of the major issues that came up were the portable toilets and the issue of maybe looking at some European-style toilets. So I volunteered to go on a trip with Commissioner Woody Fleming from the Public Works Commission to San Francisco and observe and look at the way they're handling their public toilets, the self-automated cleaning toilets. And when I got back, I conferred and spoke with Mr. Deaton, and I'm not sure if he's here, and asked him what work had been done. Mr. Deaton's here. And he indicated to me that there had been a long history on this issue and that Ms. Walters, who's not with us right now or not here today, had been working on this issue, and I told him that obviously I wanted to be respectful of Ms. Walters, so Mr. Deaton and the staff at the CLA's office drafted the motion and can give us a little background as to not only Ms. Walters' work, but what the office was doing in this issue and the directive of developing an RFP on this issue with the various departments.
Well, Mr. President, members of the council, both Public Works and through Councilwoman Walters' office, for quite a while, we've been looking at different alternatives for automated toilets, and actually worked with the contractor that MTA has to see if there was a way to use that contract. Here's the terms and conditions of that would be that they would want, we don't believe would be appropriate. We've also been working with Public Works on the potential of changing the news racks into some standardized fashion, and also, as you recall, in the outdoor advertising on the bus stops, that those things would be out to bid in about a year. And so members of the Public Works staff and myself and my staff were thinking that it would be a good idea to incorporate all three of these things into one RFP to go out citywide. The difficulty with the automated toilet is that it costs something in the neighborhood of $200,000 to $300,000, has a fairly good operating cost. What the City of San Francisco has been able to do is, with advertising, et cetera, is basically even make a little money on them and have quite a few automated toilets and newsstands in the downtown area. So this would direct us to put together an RFP and come back through the process for going out to bid next year.
And Mr. President, when I was in San Francisco and spoke with the contractor that was handling the contract in San Francisco, there was actually, in the way they were structured, there was actually a small amount of money actually generated for the city, about $60,000 a year of profit, or basically part of their gross. But basically, that model, not that we're necessarily going to follow that model, but at least as an example of one to discuss, that model, the contractor constructs and does everything, turnkeys it and turns it over to the city as a service, and does all the ADA requirements and handles everything dealing with the curbs, the sewer line for the city. They use their own contractors and get that all done. So this is the beginning of a process to get the RFP done, I am sure, and we did alert the public yesterday in public safety as it came up in relation to the urination ordinance that the number of public toilets that the contractor suggested was something roughly around, maybe to start the pilot would be somewhere around 20, but we can get to those later. But I just wanted to put in context as in terms of the motion, the work that the CLA office and Ms. Walters' office are doing.
Ms. Misakowski?
Thank you. Since Mr. Pacheco is a member of Public Safety, this was the other ingredient. The ordinance against public urination and defecation has come out of Public Safety, and we have requested that it be held and not enacted while this matter is pursued, that is finding an alternative, finding a public toilet program that can work, that can be attractive, that can be in our streets and be in our area of need, not only in the downtown Skid Row area where this has been most focused, but as we had testimony in Public Safety Committee, in and around Pershing Square, in and around other high public attentive kind of places where there are not adequate facilities. What we saw in committee on Monday as a consequence of the trip that Mr. Pacheco took, along with street services, were pictures of these kinds of various items that have been working in San Francisco, are in place in Boston and in other cities. They are coin-operated by a token or a coin. The homeless service agencies can provide them in the homeless communities through those entities. And we actually, on Public Safety Committee, did recommend that an RFP go out so that we start to get some bids and see what is appropriate. And I would suggest, although Mr. Bernson asked that this matter be sent to Plum, I would request that instead of sending the motion to Plum, that we act on the motion today and bring back the RFPs and the consultant reports, not only perhaps some combination of public safety, public works, and planning, but we really should move forward on it. We've talked about it for a long time. It can work, it does work in other areas, and it works attractively. And the more we can fit in other street furniture, be they news racks, be they our bus shelters, be they any other thing that we are putting in our public right-of-way, the more that that's coordinated, the better, and the more that it might be an incentive to somebody to bid on it, the better. But we need to move. We can't wait. And so I would move, I would recommend that we act on this motion today and get this work, a lot of which has been done in a preparatory manner, out and done. And the only question I have, Mr. Deaton, is do we really need a consultant to help us prepare the RFP, or can we do that in-house?
Actually, we think that a consultant to help us with the RFP was actually had been very helpful in the bus shelter one, doing a lot of the legwork for that, and both my staff and the public works staff believe that would be a valuable
if that's the way we do
asset.
If that's the way we can do it more effectively and have a better focused RFP and get the results we want, then that's, I think, appropriate.
I think you're right also on that the synergy of having all of them does a better job on financial issues, because the toilet would require, my recollection is 10 or so other advertising sites in order to pay for it. So there's a need to mix and match these together in an attempt to make the finances work out.
All right, Mr. Savornich.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I'm glad to see this moving forward. We had discussed this in the HCR committee 2 or 3 years ago because of issues. We were talking with LASA in regards to the portable toilet program that we were doing in the Central City program. And at that time, Council Member Walters and I were discussing that there needed to be some addressing of the issues of basic human dignity in regards to the types of lavatories that we were going to be providing to the public and those less fortunate than ourselves. One of the issues to which I want to speak is that San Francisco, I believe, has done a wonderful job in regards to making these facilities as non-obtrusive as possible. In fact, when you're walking along the Embarcadero, unless you were looking for a public restroom facility, you would walk right past it, not knowing that it was a restroom. And it is very well done and is very aesthetically pleasing, and so I'm happy to see this go forward. My only concern is that tying it to the other two, I believe the bus bench program, Mr. Deaton, what was the other one?
The news rack program.
News rack program. I would hope that it doesn't further delay us finally being able to deploy facilities as this throughout the city. For example, down in our district, we get 1 million cruise passengers a year. And if you are not able to go on the cruise ship as of yet and you want to go ahead and tour the waterfront, there's not public lavatories to which you can seek out. The same thing in regards to proximity. I'm sure Councilwoman Goldberg would testify in Hollywood that, for those areas that get a lot of tourists, if one needed to use restroom facilities, they're hard to find in the city of Los Angeles. So I would hope that the other programs that we're trying to solve don't hold this program for going forward, because I think San Francisco is a wonderful model of what can be done that can be supported by everyone.
No, I think it actually speeds it up. I think and because of the financials, it works. And we were also looking, for example, at places on Venice Beach. There's there's a whole host of things. But in the case of the cruise ships, maybe we can work out some sort of nexus.
Okay. Mr. Fuhr?
Webmaster to potty master.
Just very quickly, I want to talk about the speed issue for another second or two. If we aren't going out to RFP until next year, that's really a long time for a lot of folks to wait. And I know from a lot of the businesses in the Skid Row area, of course, really view this as an impediment to their viability altogether. And at the same time, we have this tremendous, as Mr. Zvornik stated, tremendous dignity issue in the city, and as well as it's a health issue. So is there a way for us to put this on a faster track, recognizing the importance of merging these three things? But I think that it's one of those issues where there's experience elsewhere on which to draw.
We can report back on that. We obviously spent a lot of time trying to piggyback on MTA's contract and in order to expedite it, and it didn't work out the way we had anticipated. So I think that we will be happy to expedite. We will give you a timeline and see if we can't decrease the time to complete it.
Yeah, I think you're hearing from a lot of us the importance of doing
Yes,
that.
fine.
You know, it is a long wait, especially if you're taking LASIK. If you're taking LASIK. Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, at one point about 3 years ago, my office went into an enormous exploration of this issue, because we were, as Mr. Zvornik mentioned, trying to do something in Hollywood. And it turns out that it really can not only work and be a moneymaker, not cost much, it can be a money maker for the city. The problem is you have to have a large enough number of units, and you have to be willing to put them in locations where some people may not want them. And it's a little bit akin to the billboard bus bench kind of debate. Because we gave up because we didn't believe that we'd be able to get compliance with as many parts of the city as would be needed to be involved in this in order for us to do it feasibly. But I think it's a wonderful idea. The people we talked to did not have news racks, but they had kiosks, they had advertising on the outside of the bathrooms. They maintained them, they built them, they installed them, and they paid us a fee for them, but that's because of the advertising involved. And so the question really comes, because they aren't interested in putting advertising, with all due respect to everyone, in Skid Row. That's not their first choice for advertising. What they're going to want to do is to put the advertising in neighborhoods that may or may not want to have public toilets available. And so that's going to be, I think, the difficulty, but I'm all for it, because I think as restaurants and even retail places have said customers only, increasingly, if you are out with a child, if you are out with a senior citizen, both of whom I have very personal involvement with at this point in my life, very hard to find a place to take them to go to the bathroom. Very, very difficult. And it doesn't matter where in the city you are. So the idea that you deal with public toilets, and also, by the way, some places they charge a quarter for you to use them. Others give all the businesses tokens, and the people can give them tokens. Others have not meters, but like they do with the rail. They have a place where you can put in $1 and get tokens back. There are a variety of ways of dealing with it, but you cannot stay in it very long, because if you stay in it too long, the automatic cleaning comes on, and when that comes on, you get drenched in a fluid that has soap and disinfectant in it,
Thank you.
And this is
I'm glad
not
you-
to be
I'm
desired.
glad you explained all this, Jackie.
Well, I wanted to say this because
But
there are
you're-
people who are worried about people
you're-
committing crimes
All right,
there
Miss-
or so
you're-
forth. You
you're-
don't stay
all
very
right.
long in
Mr. Wax,
I'm actually glad we're having this discussion because there's so many cities in the world when you go to, they have these. I mean, in Paris, there are, in Berlin. I mean, these aren't, we should look at this as something that could help provide a public necessity convenience in a lot of areas around the city where people congregate. And it is harder to get facilities all over the city, and it's not just young and old, it's everybody. So I would hope that, I just want us to take a look at the best of the examples, the ones that are attractive, the ones that are well-maintained, the ones that operate effectively. This isn't a rocket science. I mean, these things exist in a lot of places, and we ought to look at the best of it, and we ought to try to do this as a citywide program. I mean, this is really not something, this shouldn't come with a stigma attached, that this is only for people on Skid Row, or that this is only for people here, or whatever. I mean, this is something that, if done right, will be a service to people throughout the city, but it's our responsibility to make sure that it is really done right. I've seen just a wide range of facilities, and they vary, but there are places where they're really considered indispensable, and people really are happy to have them.
In San Jose, which is a little more mundane than Paris or Berlin, but in San Jose, in their main mall, right down next to their major hotels, there is a facility right there, and it's very tasteful.
That's a bad choice of words.
In San Francisco,
If you work for the Water and Power Department.
I'll think about that. In the case of San Francisco, I think that the other thing can be a benefit, the kiosks can actually define areas, neighborhoods, if you will, and provide information for tourists as to where they're going. There's a lot of, this has more than one interest that can be resolved here, and I think the finances and the benefits are clearly to our advantage. It's just a matter, but I think what Councilwoman Goldberg mentioned is certainly one of the areas that we have to work through.
Thank you, Mr. Deaton. Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Deaton, just to help you a little bit with the financial areas we have to work through. Clearly, the asset that the city controls is the location. And when I say that, there's a reason why bus bench companies ask for the right to put bus benches. There's a reason why we have different types of shelters going up in certain locations. I was approached by a company, and again, it's a private sector I was approaching, and I told them they have to start a process. Their concept is a bus bench that's a shelter. It's a single pole bench with a shelter on the behind with a rooftop. And to the side of the shelter is a 34-foot street light. Now, what the street light also does, it serves as a cellular antenna. And they have a whole network on transit corridors and that are not prohibited by buildings and all these other things. And they want to build them and basically lease them to cellular companies, is the way they see it. And the same street light pole has an audible box that you press a button, and you can actually dial 911 if you needed to, but its primary purpose is to let you know when the next bus is coming. So someone sitting on the shelter would have an idea of the bus is 3 minutes away, 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away. Now, they want the right to build these. And I'm kind of throwing it out because as we talk about advertising, that's one mode of funding. As we talk about right-of-way for purposes of share, that's another mode of funding. And when we work on this RFP, being able to open it up to all these options, there might be an option out there nobody's even talking about yet. But they're willing to do a lot of work in that regard, and they look at our city as a tremendous opportunity. And I wanted to kind of throw out to Ms. Goldberg that even if it's in an affluent area where people are willing to do these things, if we can structure it, we can also cover the cost of those areas where they don't want to do it. as opposed to just limiting it to those areas. So enough funds have to be generated to kind of look at two areas. It makes a lot of sense, and I think you tried to come up with something like that when we were talking about street banners.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
You don't have to remind me of that.
Yeah. All right. So this matter, colleagues, this matter is going to be referred to, we're going to approve this matter today, but then the CLA's office will work on submitting a report back to the council. The matter is before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
Next item, please.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if it's possible, but I would like to be recorded as an aye vote on item 18, which I missed.
Well, I don't, inasmuch as you were not in the room, I don't know if we can do that, but we'll.
Can I move
make
to
a-
have someone move to reconsider?
Consideration for the purpose of adding Ms. Goldberg's role. Too complicated, John?
I'll let.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because David's in here.
All right.
I'll let,
That's right.
I'll let we'll re-record you as an aye vote, but with that asterisk.
Yeah, that's right. It's like
Okay.
Roger Maris.
The next item,
43, called special by Councilmember Chick.
Mrs. Chick.
Yes, as introducer of the motion, I just wanted to quickly call attention to it, colleagues. This is a motion that allows us to track carefully and accurately the full costs over whatever period of time it takes on the Rampart scandal, not simply the more noticeable costs of lawsuit settlements, but salaries and associated costs and rental and space and the whole thing. We've already had, I think, somewhere between 4 to 6 budget allocations. And I think in terms of solving the problem, that's our number one priority. But being accountable to the public and making sure that the taxpayers in the city know how much this has cost us is very important. So I will look to the Budget and Finance Committee and relevant city staff to help us keep track and to know what, in fact, these horrible situations are ending up costing the city. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, prepare the roll.
I'm sorry, I guess it got turned off.
Well, Ms. Goldberg, go ahead.
I just want to know if you would accept it as a friendly amendment to make it 30 days rather than 60 days. Because I think
Yeah.
too much happens in 2 months
Go ahead.
sometimes. So I would just like to amend it to be 30 days. Thank you.
Okay, there's no objections to that amendment, so prepare the roll on 43 as amended. Tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
This is the time for comments from the public on non-agenda items.
Okay, we have quite a few people who want to be heard. It's a 10-minute public hearing, so Angus O'Brien, Larry Tyler, start your engines.
Hello, I want to thank you, honorable council members, for the time and consideration to listen. I'm here to speak in opposition of the project labor agreement that's currently being utilized by the LA Unified School District. It's in the process of being...
We don't have anything to do with the school district, so...
No, I understand. I'm just trying to give you some background on the project labor agreement. It's a project labor agreement that was adopted by the school district to mandate union contractors to perform public works for the school district. You will be voting on it soon for the LAX, mandating that only union contractors do work for LAX. And it's our understanding that the city council or the Board of Public Works is considering adopting the project labor agreement for the city of Los Angeles Public Works. As a local independent public works contractor, we wish to present the following concerns and impacts we and our workers have with the utilization of the project labor agreement. From an employee perspective, we talked to our employees and we asked our workers about joining the union ranks so that we can continue working for the city of LA. and the Board of Public Works. In their response, we learned that the union retirement benefits deducted from union workers' checks are 100% forfeited to the union coffers if the union employees are not vested. A union employee must work and pay union benefits for 20 years uninterrupted to be fully vested for his union benefits. An employee who changes occupation or union affiliation during this period may not transfer his accrued time, but must forfeit his benefits to the union coffers. Non-union workers are currently being paid the same prevailing wage as union workers as mandated by the Davis-Bacon Act. The difference is the non-union worker is 100% vested in their retirement benefits as soon as the money is deducted from their checks. They may take this money with them if they change their occupation or their work classification, giving them the power of their contributions.
Okay, we have other people who want to be heard. You're taking all the time.
Okay, how long do I have here?
You're through.
Okay.
Okay, Larry Tyler, and then Shane Hoggard.
Mayor and City Council members, my name is Larry Tyler. I'm president of Terra Cal Construction. I'm an open shop for non-union construction company that has done probably in excess of 50 contracts with the City of Los Angeles. Obviously, my employees and my company would like to continue doing work. We do understand that the project labor agreement will be coming forth, propounded by the Building Trades Councils, and we want to make sure that you know that there's a other side of the issue. We'd like the opportunity to speak to it at the time. I don't want to take a lot of time now. There are issues, and I will be contacting each of your offices to find out who of your staff will be watching and monitoring that, so I can perhaps keep in contact with them. There's two sides, and we just want to be heard. Thank you very much.
Okay, Shane Hoggard.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to briefly speak today. My name is Shane Hoggard, and I am the Executive Director of the ABC, Associated Builders and Contractors, Los Angeles and Ventura Chapter. We are an association that represents both union and non-union related construction firms. It is our understanding that the trades councils are currently proposing an agreement for all construction projects at LAX. I strongly urge all of you for an opportunity to give those opposed to it a voice before it is approved. There are many points in these project labor agreements that are not in the best interest of the city, and we would relish the opportunity to address each of them at a later time, but before it's considered by the council. And thank you.
Thank you. Donicia Robinson.
Good morning, Danisha Robinson. I'm an employee of Argent Bright Security. Argent Bright have just settled with SCIU for the employees' right to form a union. We're going to have an election on June 30th. Unfortunately, for more than 100 employees of Terminal 2, which house Northwest and several other airlines, our jobs at this time are in limbo. Argent Bright contract has just been canceled, and the contract was awarded to Aviation Safeguard, which is not a very good company. We have some information that we're going to hand out to all of the city council members. You can read for yourself. We ask your support to call Aviation Safeguard because they're saying that they don't have to comply with the ordinance of hiring the employees. We would like to remain Argent Bright Security instead of Aviation Safeguard. Please support us in this.
Thank you. Isaac Nuru.
Yes, my name is Isaac Nuru, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to address you real quickly. I'm an organizer with SCIU, and I'm organizing the Terminal 2 where Danisha Robinson and the people who face the situation with Argent Bright and Aviation Safeguard. I would just like to say two things real quickly. One is there's a worker retention ordinance that's supposed to apply here as the subcontractors, as you know, as they change subcontractors. Aviation Safeguard says that that does not apply to them. That information is also in the packet that you have. And I would like to say, not as an organizer, but just as a concerned citizen, that what's taking place there in Terminal 2 is really, really bad. And I just hope that the community that sees this will also stand up and say, because the workers have went through for 2 years, I'm doing everything that they legally can to get a union, and now it's being snatched away from them. Thank you.
Thank you. Patricia Price. And then Richard Robinson.
Ask the city attorney's office for an opinion on that question of whether, not this minute, but to get
Yeah,
us an
let's,
opinion on the
let's get through with the public hearing
worker
first.
retention ordinance issue.
Go ahead.
I know item 18 is closed, and I'm amazed at you, Mr. President, that you've always been a person for equality, and I think equal time is your responsibility to make sure that all of us get, not only 2 or 3 get the whole time, and that is a method of calling we, the disabled and our senior citizens, second-class citizens. We have a voice in our community, and anytime I'm here, I expect to be able to do that. And you ask these other people that took up all the time, what have they done but only complain? We have a right to complain. But me as a disabled people, and most of the time home except for community meetings, I was able to help the Hollywood Division catch someone on the most wanted list. A lot of you offer money for people to do that. There was no money offered. I didn't even ask, and I'm still not asking for money to do that. Just because I happen to go around every now and then to different businesses to get things for my neighbors that are worse off than I am as far as mobility. I was able to meet this lady that was wanted for a homicide, and she actually wanted my bag from me, thinking I was going to trash it. She was very kind about wanting it. But then when I got my computer about a week ago and looked up the LAPD most wanted, I was floored when I saw her picture, and I'd asked around in the neighborhood and was able to tell them a general facility where she was living at, to where they were able to catch her immediately.
Thank you, Mrs. Price. Mr. Robinson?
Mr. President, members of council, Richard Robinson, neighborhood organizer. The Frontier Hotel has been placed on the back burner now that I've established a security detail. I presently reside at the 7-Star Motel at Hollywood Boulevard in La Brea in Jackie's district, across the street from the Christian Science Church in your district. I'm assisting a group of Asian merchants organize a neighborhood council. Thank you.
Okay, Eric Christensen, you have 14 seconds.
Back in my track days, members of the council, I'd just like you to consider the important decision that you're going to be facing in the next couple of weeks regarding the LAX PLA. Please consider the other side that will be presenting its case in the next few weeks regarding that important project labor agreement issue. There is another side, and we look forward to trying to explain that to you and ironing out some of the what we determine are the more harmful aspects of the PLA. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the public comment period is closed. Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, there was a statement made by one of the speakers, and obviously not today because we don't have it on the agenda, but I would like to get an opinion about whether or not the city's worker retention ordinance applies to the new aviation safeguards. My understanding is that we went back in and made some changes to the worker retention ordinance to make sure that it would cover new contractors coming onto a situation. But I'd like to get an opinion on that before this gets very much further.
Okay,
That's fine.
That's an oral request, and I think Gail, you got that request.
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next item.
Motions for posting and referral.
There's no objections, unanimous vote.
The desk is clear for closed session.
We have a closed session item. Would everyone leave who's not involved with the closed session item? Yeah. Okay. Next item.
The desk is clear, Mr. President.
Okay, we do have some adjourning motions, so would everyone please stand? Members of the council asked we adjourn in memory of Georgie Brando, who was a structural engineer who helped shape the Los Angeles skyline with buildings such as the sports arena, the convention center, and the Central Library, a lifelong supporter of USC. He was the president of the General Alumni Association, and he was a trustee of the university. He leaves his wife, 2 sons. I'd ask we adjourn in his memory. Also, I'd ask we adjourn in memory of Beatrice Ward Chalice, who passed away. She was 98 years old. She was active in my district, and I talked to her many times. She helped found the E-Bell Club, the Friday Morning Club, the Hancock Park Art Council, and was the first nursery in Los Angeles. She and her husband founded the Windsor Square Association. She leaves his 2 daughters, and I'd ask we adjourn in her memory. Call the roll. Aye, the council is adjourned.
What happened with the cab?